I've always been that kind of person who, if someone explains something to me, I'm like, oh, what? And then it's only until I go away and do it that I'm like, oh yeah, I get it now. It's so simple.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Hope everyone's having a nice day, whatever time you're watching this at. So today I've got a really super cool guest in my virtual car, and her name is Mel. Hi, Mel.
Hi,
how
everyone.
are you doing?
Hello. I'm good.
You good? How's your day been?
It's been good, thanks. Been working away, and yeah, it's been busy, but it's been good. Busy is good.
Cool. Busy is good. Are you managing to sort of brave the heat that's out there at the moment? Is it hot where you are? Where are you based?
So I'm based in Leeds, and
okay.
A few days ago, well, over the weekend, to be fair, it was really hot, and then it kind of cooled down a little bit, and now it's just in the middle. It was raining this morning, and now it's just grey skies. So yeah, I'm feeling okay at the minute. Managed to go on a nice walk before it rained as well.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah.
But
good.
All is well. How's the weather where you are?
Not too bad. I'm in Kent, so I think we get the most extreme weather. So when it's like really hot, it's super hot over here, and it's when it's rainy, when it rains, it pours. But so far, so good.
Good.
Cool. So Mel, as you know, this show, it's a carpool show, but it's about property, and we like to talk to people at different stages of their property journey. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do in property, and how you got started in it. Let us get to know you a little bit better.
Yes, I got started in property officially about a year ago. Prior to that, I was kind of in and out, hearing people talk about it, not really knowing if it was anything for me. But about a year ago, I decided to actually start my own property journey, and that was at the age of 21. So wow. I have learned quite a lot since then, to be fair, and I've attended crash courses in property, like training by Samuel Leeds, and it's been really, really beneficial for me to kind of learn. So that was like my kind of foundation of it, and then since then I've just obviously implemented everything, and yeah, it's going really well. So I'm very, very early on in my property career at the minute, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, good. No, it's really exciting. So what sort of things are you doing in property? Because I know there's sort of different strategies that people use. So are you able to talk us through the ones that you're sort of looking to do or doing at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So I am currently using the co-deal sourcing strategy, and that's purely because I'm 21. I do have a full-time job, and I'm a uni student as well. So all of that combined.
What doesn't she do? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Does she have a life? No. So yeah, social life is there still, but I'm very busy. So I feel like co-deal sourcing is the best way for me to actually make money through property without having to have thousands of pounds behind me to begin. And also without having to go through lots of like compliance, regulation checks and things like that. Gotcha. I can do that in a bit of more of a different way. It's a bit unconventional, but it works really well. So I can talk a little bit more about that if you want. But that's basically deal sourcing.
That's okay. Now, one of the things that I like to do on this show is not assume that people know like the jargons and like the acronyms and so you mentioned co-deal sourcing. What is that? Like what does that really mean?
Yeah, so co-deal sourcing is when you basically find property investment deals, and the whole concept behind it is the fact that there are many different faces of a property investor. So you might have a property investor who has a lot of money which they can't actually invest properly in property because they don't really have the skills or the expertise to do so. So a deal sourcer basically finds deals for this kind of person who's time poor, and they then say, I found you a deal for this much. I know you were looking for a buy, refurb, refinance deal. Here it is. here's my fee for providing you this deal, and then that investor then purchases that deal, and then obviously the property as well, and they do whatever they need to do with that. So my role is to find these deals for the main deal sourcer, who then has their own investor list, and then they pass those deals on to their investor list. So to be fair, I have it quite easy because I don't have to have an investor list. I don't have to know how to sell deals to investors at the minute. It's good to know, obviously, but at the minute I'm just focusing on kind of just upping my skills of finding deals and stuff. And I think it's really good because you can only sell a good deal once you know what a good deal is. And I feel like I'm at that stage right now. So that's what I do. And I basically make money by getting a cut of the fee that they get from the investor.
The investor. Oh, that's pretty. I mean, because one of the things that I do like about property investment industry or whatnot is there's so many different places that people can slot in, and regardless of where you are potentially in any part of your journey. So you've just described a very nice little cushy, I wouldn't say niche, but like a little spot where works for now, and it also you can make money from it, and it seems like it's like discreet, you know, the boundaries of what you have to do to get your money is like just there, you know. So the deal process it.
Yeah, it's very straightforward, and anyone can do it. Like it's open for anyone to be a co-deal sourcer, and I think that's the beauty of it as well. You don't need to know massive amounts of information to do it. All you need to be able to do is find deals, which is quite simple to learn. So it's good.
So you said all you need to do is find deals. I mean, are you able to talk a little bit about how you find deals, or how does one find deals? Obviously, if it's like secret sauce, don't tell me any of you are like, you know, secret sauce, but is there anything that that you can say that about your process, let's just say?
Yeah, for sure. So the way that I find deals is I'll kind of do it in steps. So first of all, I need to actually get into my head what kind of deal I'm looking for, because once you go onto Rightmove, you can be overwhelmed with all of these different houses, all of these different prices and criteria and the filters. So you need to have in your head what kind of deal it is that you're looking for. So let's just say, for example, I am on the search for a buy refurb refinance deal. So I would go onto Rightmove and I'd have my criteria as, you know, set to a specific area in the UK. I might know that a certain area is really good for those kind of deals, you know, rundown houses that are in relatively good areas. And then once I put that criteria in there, I would just adjust my other filters for price and bedrooms and things based on the knowledge that those kind of houses would sell quite well once they're in good condition. So obviously a 1-bed might not do so well if it was in good condition as opposed to a 3-bed. So you kind of just make a kind of an educated assumption on that. So once you've put all your criteria into Rightmove, you then search through the properties, and there will be a lot to search through. So you just go through, instead of scrolling through Instagram, you scroll through Rightmove in your free time and you find deals. And then once you've found them, you ring up the agents and you book your viewings. And to be fair, that bit can be the most time consuming, because trying to coordinate viewings and trying to make sure that you're not in Bradford at 2 o'clock, but then you need to be in Swansea at 4 o'clock. Like, you need to be able to coordinate everything as best as you can. And once you've done that, you can either stack. I say stack. So stack means you just kind of put your figures into a calculator, which works out if the deal is profitable or not. You can either do that before you see the deal, before you go and view the house, or after. I'd recommend for your first few times to do it beforehand, so you don't waste your time. And then once you have done that, if you're happy with the property, you put forward an offer. If not, you still put forward an offer, because you always put forward offers on properties, even if they are extremely low in comparison to the asking price. And they'll either get accepted or rejected. And once you've done that, you pass it on to the main deal sourcer, who will then kind of send it across to the investor if everything is right with it. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
So I'm gonna have to like rewatch this again, write some notes because you've just given me a masterclass in
Yeah.
in finding deals.
Secret
And deal
sauce.
sourcing.
All is revealed.
Wow. No. So I mean, you definitely know what you're doing. I mean, how did you? Because one of the things that I have observed, and I've had it in myself initially, is sort of the confidence to, because you've just reeled that off, like a Jedi master. How do you how do you get to that point where it's just like tip of the tongue?
Oh, I don't. I would say the only way that you would be able to explain it as I've just done is to do it.
Yeah.
Like growing up at school, sixth form, like uni, whatever, I've always been that kind of person who, if someone explains something to me, I'm like, oh, what? And then it's only until I go away and do it that I'm like, oh yeah, I get it now. It's so simple. So I would say that, I would say that you would just need to do it and follow the steps and go through it. And once you've done it a few times, you'll be able to explain it because you'll know it.
You'll know it, Yeah, I find that I'm the same in the sense of how I learn. So I definitely learn by doing. And I think, I don't know, there's good and there's bad to it because I'm the kind of person that I will do something even if I'm going to trip up along the way, but at least I'll learn. So, I'll scrape my knee and like, okay, yeah, I know to look out for that bump in the road next time. Whereas I know there's people who can consume like words and text and stuff. And I think I'm too impatient. I don't know what it is. Just want to do it. Yeah.
I know. I'm the same. Like driving for me was like that. I was just like, okay, I'm so glad my instructor didn't sit in the car for an hour and just explain to me how a car works, because some of my friends had that experience and I'm like, oh, I'd be like, just take me out, and if I'm going to crash it, press the brakes. If not, let's just get going. Because learning how to do something and then actually doing it is very different. And kind of.
So that's interesting. I like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I'd finished. It's fine.
Sorry, I was in my thoughts there. But you were talking about being like the car analogy. I think it's a great analogy actually. And I'm sure I've heard somebody use something similar, but like, the best way to learn how to drive a car is to drive it, and you could actually be the most knowledgeable person on like engines and, interiors and how all the cogs and the electronics work. But if you're not actually driving it, then it's there's no point.
Yeah.
So here's a question. If we go back a little bit, what was the, because obviously you're I guess fairly young and you have many options ahead of you in terms of what you can do with your future. So why has property, what is it about property that like really stands out to you? Or that stood out to you?
Yeah, so for me, I just had kind of thought about what I wanted to do in life, and when I was faced with the big decision of, all right, do you want to go to uni? Do you not want to go to uni? Which, to be fair, wasn't really a decision because my parents were like, you're going to uni. But in terms of what I wanted to do and things like that, I was like, oh, I don't really know. And I kind of went down different paths of work experience and then figured out that I wanted to do quantity surveying. So that's what my degree is going to be in. I'm going into my 5th year now of my part-time course because I'm working as a quantity surveyor alongside that. So I would say that the career of being a quantity surveyor has just opened my eyes up to the world of construction as a whole. And I think property investment fits in that a little bit. Well, not a little bit, it does. And I would say, as well as like the kind of normal 9-to-5 job and stuff like that, I have always been someone who wanted to invest my money into something else other than just myself. And I don't mean bags and shoes, I mean like, education and stuff.
I never said anything.
So I'd always wanted to like invest my money in something else, and I'd read about like stocks and shares and all this complicated stuff. And to be fair to some people, it's not complicated. To me, I was like, how does that work? But when I had heard about property, and I thought, oh, that makes so much sense. Like investing your money in an asset like that, which appreciates over time, but not only that, can actually generate you a monthly income if you were to maximize it to its full potential, is such a fantastic concept. So I would say that for me, property was kind of the only thing at that time when I first decided to embark on it that presented that sort of opportunity to me as a young 21-year-old. So obviously there are lots of different other things. I could have set up a business on like something else or whatever, and I can still do that, but I feel like having the passive income that property can give me will aid those things, and property can kind of be the foundation of that rather than like an add-on.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, and it's definitely seems well thought out, your approach, and property can definitely be a vehicle to almost whatever else you want to do with that passive income and the asset wealth. And cool. So okay, so you're co-sourcing. What areas are you co-sourcing in? You live in Leeds, right? But is that kind of your patch? Yeah.
No. So surprisingly, I rarely look for properties in Leeds, because Leeds it's basically it just doesn't have the kind of properties I'm looking for, to put it simply. For whatever reason that is. The rundown properties, which in some areas might be 50 grand, here would be still 125. And the concept is to buy a house that is cheaper, or to look for a house that is cheaper, which you can either rent out at a high price, or you can kind of sell on for a much higher price. And that leverage is really important. And I feel like in Leeds, for what I'm looking for, I can't do that as well as I can do it in areas such as Durham or Doncaster or Swansea and South Wales and stuff. So it really does depend on what you're looking for, because if you're looking to build some apartments that are really like fancy and in the city centre and stuff, Leeds is your place probably. But if you're looking for, something else, and then it's probably not. But I'm not limited by Leeds, and it's quite a good point to be fair to raise it, because I think a lot of people are quite comfortable to just look at where they live because they're familiar with it, and like, oh, if I go and view a house, then I know that this street's next to this street, and then I can just quickly go there and stuff. But sometimes that will really just hinder you in your like journey, because you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone, and sometimes it takes having to drive to Hull for a day and view houses with no other accommodation than your car to sit in between viewing is what you have to do. It's just what you have to do.
Got to do what you got to do. Yeah, I saw you did a viewing on, or you showed on, I think, your day of viewings on Instagram recently. Was that one of your day trips to the patch, was it?
Yes, it was. So that was one of my day trips, which I actually recorded for the first time. And it was pretty much what I've just described. It was me going to a patch and viewing houses and having gaps in between my viewings and being uncomfortable in my car, and like that video that you're talking about, it's honestly, I watched it back and I was like, this is, to me, so funny, because it is such an accurate description or like representation of what my viewing days are like. I go and I get lost, I get hot in the car, and then it starts to rain, and then I'm cold again, and then like it's a mess. And sometimes it's just like, oh, if anyone could see this, they'd be like, what the hell are you even doing? Like, other people are just chilling, it's a Saturday, they've woken up at 12, and I'm like up at half 7 on Saturday morning. So it's funny because I'd put that on my story, on my Instagram story, and then I was like, oh no, it's too good to just let go. So I had to make a vlog. I had to put it on my Instagram channel.
No, it was really good, and it gives insight into I guess the day in the life of a sourcer. It was amusing at parts as well.
Thank you.
Because I've had similar things. So I've done some sourcing in Liverpool, And I've had,
Cool.
like the same kind of, asking people, here's the address, but I'm here. Don't see
Yeah,
where
where
it
is
is.
it? Yeah.
And being in an unfamiliar neighborhood and sort of having to ask people and getting weird looks.
Yeah.
But
So you've experienced
it's
that as well, then, not being in
yeah,
your kind of your comfort zone of right, like Kent, for example. You
yeah,
had to like
yeah.
go away, and then you had to like, it's a journey in itself.
No, it is, but it's cool. I mean, I think because once you do it a few times, it becomes a bit mechanical, and
Yeah.
exactly, and I've heard people say the more time you spend outside of your comfort zone, you just become more okay with like not
Yeah.
being in control, not being in control, but not knowing everything and not having
Mm.
everything like all ducks in a row. So I
Yeah.
think it's a good skill to train.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I think as well, in your comfort zone, you don't
yeah,
really see much growth because it's your
no,
comfort zone. Like,
it's the
it
growth
keeps
zone,
you the
isn't it?
same, and that's why it's called your comfort zone, because you're comfortable, you're cushy, and from that you don't see much progression or change because you're just in the exact same place all the
Yeah.
time, and that it doesn't foster growth.
And when you think about it, when you're in the exact same place, in reality, you're actually moving backwards. I think because like everything grows, your body grows, you grow in
Yes.
8 years.
Yeah.
So why should you not grow in
With it.
whatever this? Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, and the world around you is changing and growing as well, so you need to
yeah,
adapt.
you got to adapt, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask you about milestones, because obviously you've mentioned that you're co-sourcing now. Is there a plan, or is there an idea of what you want to what milestones are you looking to achieve sort of next, or let's say, I don't know, in the next year or two? I asked somebody the other day about a 10-year plan, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to do that tonight." So it's a bit too long, but I don't know what kind of person you are.
Yeah,
Do you plan
how far
ahead,
I
or
work
how far
in
ahead do
advance.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say a year is like that would give you a good idea. But I'll start off with 6 months. Well, actually,
Yeah.
the year is finishing in 4 or 5 months. So I'll give you until the end of the year at the minute. So by the end of the year, I want to have done a bigger deal. So my aim is so at first I was kind of looking for single lets, and that was my co-deal sourcing strategy, was to find single let properties. But that has kind of ended now, and I'm not now looking for buy refinance deals for co-deal sourcing, but also for me and my partner to do at the same time together. So I'm currently looking for one of those deals, and that was part of my mission for when I did those viewings. I did go on. So that will basically feed into one of my goals that I set at the start of this year, and I was
nice.
Yeah, so I was quite brave, to be fair, and I posted my goals on my Instagram page at the start of the year.
It's out there now. You're accountable.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the reason why I did it. Because I was like, oh, okay, I want to raise X amount in property, and I put the figure there, and I was like, oh, I remember I deleted it, and then I retyped it, and then I deleted it, and I was like, oh, number one, I thought, oh, this is so embarrassing. People are going to read this and think, oh, she's never going to be able to do that. What the hell? Because I hadn't really spoken about property on my Instagram.
In your channel before, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first kind of concern, and then also I was like, oh, if I don't achieve it, it's going to be really embarrassing. But the fact is, I like to be kept accountable, and what better way than to do it because I'm scared to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's quite
whatever it takes to motivate you,
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm aiming to be at the end of the year. I want to reach that goal and to just see that excel. And I'd say for the remainder of the year, so next year, I plan on just having more money to invest in my own deals and to potentially get my own house and to rent that out as well. So that can be like a HMO or a single let if it's making good money. But just something for myself so I can have something for me. Yeah, so that would be really great.
Oh, that's good. Really good goals. Well, it's out there now, so I'm gonna
Yeah, it's
ask
out
you
there now. Hold me
in
accountable.
a
I
year's
know.
time.
Watch this space.
No,
If I
but
don't achieve it.
no. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so um, talk to me about if you wouldn't mind, your worst day in property.
Oh, that's a really good question. My
Or
worst.
is it like all rosy and
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
everything's perfect and
No, the reason
no?
why I'm
Okay,
thinking is because I've had quite a few bad days, but I want to pick the worst
the
day.
worst.
So, uh, there will have been tears for sure. Uh, I'm gonna say, oh, to be fair, the worst day is actually quite recent. So I mean, maybe it's not exactly the worst day, but it's the day that shows how like days can go like this.
Yeah.
So I obviously viewed the properties. And this is a bit of an exclusive as well because I haven't actually given an update on my Instagram about how the
Ooh.
viewings went. So secret sauce is 101 right here.
Yeah.
So obviously I viewed the properties on 2 weeks ago, I think it was, whenever, on Saturday, and
Yeah.
I put forward 6 offers because I viewed 6 properties,
Yeah.
and from there I had 4 rejected, and that wasn't the worst day because that happens often. You get a lot of rejection, but I was really hopeful for 2 of the properties because the estate agent had said, oh yeah, if you've got proof of funds, which I did, he was like, oh no, if you do kind of say that you've got proof of funds and you send evidence, and then they're likely to accept the offer. So I was like, cool, here's your proof of funds, like please pass it on to the vendor and let's get moving. And in my head I was like, this is a done deal, like it's done. And I then received an email the next day being like, sorry, your offer on both of the houses has been rejected. Are you looking to go any higher? And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so upset. I was like, you told me that.
It was in the bag, no?
It was in the, I'm like, yeah, I pretty much own these already, like my name's on the title deeds, what are you talking about? But no, I was just like, oh, so deflated. And I remember thinking, oh man, and it put me in a bit of a down mood for like half of the day. And I was just like, oh man, okay, this means I'm gonna have to start looking again, and it takes so long. And I mean, like, I was kind of fine with it, but I was just like, okay, I just need to get over it, like, because I can't change it. But then the next day, this is like the high bit of the worst day. I got an email to be like, actually, they're looking to like negotiate, and they're willing to maybe come down to your offer.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay then. So the thing is, yeah, it just shows like
you stuck to your guns.
Bad days come, and I think some people are like, oh no, don't get emotionally attached, like don't feel sad if it doesn't go through, but that's all well and good to say, but the fact is you put a lot of effort into whatever you do, and if you feel sad because it hasn't gone through, like I feel like that's a healthy thing because it shows
it's a normal reaction, really.
It is a normal reaction. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So I felt sad and tried to get over it, and then the next day I was like, oh wow, no need to feel sad.
It worked out. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
That's all I'll say on that, but for more of an update, watch this space.
Watch this space. So who knows, by the time this actually goes out, the update might have happened. Who knows? But
who knows?
Cool. All right. So before you were talking about how, almost like the day in a life of a sourcer, or the life of a sourcer is, it can be quite sort of chaotic in the sense that there's so many things that you've got to do. You've got to call, you've got to view, you've got to analyze. So how do you keep organized, and do you use any systems at all in your operation?
So actually another really good question. You and these questions. I don't know how much I want to share, but to be fair, seeing as I'm just
let's talk in code, shall we?
Yeah. Oh man, and I'm gonna have to word my words very carefully. So do I use any systems and how do I stay organised? So I'll answer how I stay organised first.
Yeah.
I naturally am quite an organised person. I've always been that way from like studying for GCSEs and levels and stuff. I've just been quite methodical in how I do things, and I like to write to-do lists and tick things off. Like, it makes me feel good when I've accomplished something and I can strike it off, I'll tick it off. And for me, I feel like my property journey has been really strange this year because, like I said, I started last year, but even then I can't even say that I was consistent because I was just like, I had no real, I knew why I wanted to get into property, but I had no real drive behind me. Yeah, so it was only when I broke my leg on my skiing trip on the 30th of December. I know, I broke my leg. Not only did I break my leg, I dislocated it and tore my meniscus as well. So like it was a really nasty injury.
Properly broken.
And
yeah.
Yeah, so after that, and just being able to have time to reflect and things, and literally not be able to walk, and I was off from work for a bit because my meds were so high and things, and I just started to think about how I could actually maximize my time and things, and it was only then that I thought, okay, I need to be consistent with property. So since then I was more consistent and more disciplined and more organized with it. But then as I got better, my kind of discipline went like this, and then it went like that, and then it just went up and down. So I would say I am naturally an organised person, but there are times where uni assignments need to be done, work deadlines are looming, and I'm not always consistent 7 days a week, 24/7, because it's really hard to be. But when I'm not consistent, I don't get downtrodden about it. I just pick myself up and I'm thinking, all right, okay, I haven't done anything for a while, or I haven't posted on Instagram about property for a while, like I need to do that. And then I just get on with it. So that's kind of what I do. And I have rough kind of milestones in my head of what I want to achieve and things on like a weekly basis and daily. But yeah, so that's what I do, and that's how I do it. But in terms of like systems, I have been thinking a lot about systems and what I do and how I do, and I always think about how I can maximize what I'm doing and how productive. Basically what I'm trying to say is I do something and I think to myself, is this the best way that it can be done? And most of the time it's no, and then I change what I'm doing. But one thing that has really been taking up a lot of my time, and this is where the secret sauce comes in, one thing that's really been taking up my time is finding viewings. I know. Finding viewings that are in an area, or like that are kind of dispersed within an area. So let's just say I found viewings in South Yorkshire. Let's not say South Yorkshire because that's quite a big, it's quite a big place. But let's just say I found viewings across Mexborough, Doncaster, Rotherham, and I need to try and coordinate my viewings in a way that means I can get to one place at one time and then be at the next viewing for another place at another time. And that process sounds simple, but it's honestly the most time-consuming thing, which is what I was talking about before. And I usually have 3 separate windows up. I have Google Maps in one corner, I have my postcodes in another corner, I have my my times and my confirmed viewings on one spreadsheet, with also notes to say, oh, okay, Sandra said she's going to ring me back about 102 North Crescent, and like all of these things are just like everywhere, like scattered. So I've just been trying to think about the best way that can be done, and a potential system that could be put into place which allows people to do that in an effective way, rather than just plonking in your calendar, because I feel like that is productive and like good to a certain degree. So that's what I'm thinking, but I need to still do a little bit more research around it, see how many people would be interested in something like that. But if it is, and then I'd love to provide something like that, because I struggle with it a lot. And if it just helps one person, and then fantastic, and if it just helps me, it will fantastic.
Oh, So you're working on your own system, are you?
Yeah, I'm working on my own little system.
That is very exciting. So not only are you a property entrepreneur, and a quantity surveyor in training or in uni, and in uni, you're also a tech entrepreneur, aren't you? Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm a bit of a techie. I am.
Again,
yeah,
well,
I am.
That's
Yeah.
very exciting, very exciting. As you were talking, I had this vision of, so now I'm going to make a movie reference, and I understand that there's a risk that the film that I'm talking about, you might have been, in primary school. So, have you seen Swordfish? Yeah, in diapers. Have you seen Swordfish? Well, Google it.
No,
it's got.
Sorry, I haven't. I've heard of it though. I've heard of it. I just don't know what it's about.
Okay. Well, it's not about fish. I'll tell you that. It's about computer hacking. It's got Halle Berry. Who I'm sure you know, and
yeah, I love Halle Berry. Where is she these days, by the way?
I don't know.
Disappeared.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know. And Hugh Jackman, Wolverine.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, I'm sort of spoiling the story now. But ultimately, there's about 10 screens that he's a hacker, and he's on the screen doing this and that. And when you were saying you've got your screen, it's got your spreadsheets, you've got your screen, it's got your right moves, and your anyway.
So it reminded me of that. Yeah.
It reminded me of that.
Yeah, literally. I'll have to watch that scene because I'll watch it now.
It's the whole movie. Yeah.
Oh, is it the whole movie? Right.
Yeah, basically.
I'll watch the whole movie.
Cool. All right. So that's your view on systems, and that's really, really exciting. All right. So I guess I'm coming up to the end of the, recording, and wanted to ask some light-hearted, not necessarily property-related questions. So it's a car-themed show that we're in at the moment. So the question that I'm asking everybody at the moment is, what's your dream car and why?
Oh, this is such a good question. Okay, so my dream car at the minute, annoying, I've got two. Sorry. I've got the one that I want to get realistically in the next 5 years, and then I've got my ultimate.
Right.
I need to sit up for this. So my 5-year kind of dream car is a 640D BMW. Preferably, I'd like it as like a little coupe, in black, tinted windows.
Yeah.
Nice 640D. And to be fair, every time I say that, my boyfriend says something like, "Oh no, you'll want like an M Sport version of it or something." I always forget which one he says it's similar to, but in my head 640D is good for me, but apparently there's like a better one, so it might be that one, who knows. And then my ultimate is a Bentley GT.
Ooh, okay, there you go.
Yes.
So yeah, you're a car person, you know your cars. Okay.
Yeah.
And are you driving it, or is somebody driving you in that sort of?
I'm driving it. I love to drive. I love to drive, so I definitely drive it myself.
Good.
And if anyone asked me to drive it, I would politely decline. No thanks.
Eat dust, right? Yeah. Just drive off.
Yeah.
Cool. Those are great answers, by the way. Next question is music related. So, what is in your music player right now, whether it's Spotify or whatever other software that you use for your music? What's on your playlist right now?
So my favourites, that's such a hard question because my music taste honestly varies so much. At the minute, I'm quite embarrassed to say this, to be fair, but you know what, own it. I love Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Okay, so when I
thought you were going to say like grunge, or like death metal or something.
Oh yeah, like heavy metal. Nah, it's not me. But when I was in high school, I was low-key obsessed with her, and people used to always be like, "Oh, I'm so obsessed with Taylor Swift, so embarrassing." But now I'm like, whatever, I love her, and she's just released a new album, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, "Oh, I like you, Taylor." So there's her. I'm also Christian, so I love Hillsong and
I like Hillsongs.
So
I do like a bit of Hillsongs.
Yeah, so I've listened to a lot of their albums as well. And then also, like, weirdly, I love Lana Del Rey as well, so I listen to a lot of her stuff.
Okay.
It's just a mixed match.
Eclectic mix.
Yeah. To be fair, I'd say those three artists describe me quite well as a person.
Okay.
As far as my music tastes go, yeah.
Good. No, there was no bad choices there, by the way. So all good choices. All right. So if you were to speak to somebody, right now who's trying to get into property and for whatever reason they haven't, what advice, would Mel give to that person to help them along their way?
Yeah. So I would say, is this to someone who wants to get started in property? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say to just start. A lot of people message me and they say, "Oh, do you think I should wait until I finish uni, or do you think I should wait until this?" And I'm like, no. Like, honestly, there's no time like the present. And with the option of co-deal sourcing, where you don't even need to have any money, it would be really, really, I wouldn't say silly, because that's a bit, but it would be questionable if you didn't start because you were waiting until you finished uni. Like, it would just be like,
the diplomatic.
Yeah, very PC. I would say, oh, well, what's going to have changed when you finish uni? Because the chances are you're going to get a job and you're going to be really busy because you're learning lots of things and stuff. So whether you're at uni, or you're waiting until you finish uni, or you're waiting until winter, or you're waiting until Corona ends, like, just start now, because there's no time like the present, and we only have today. Like, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? So just start now and don't look back.
There you go. That's now etched in the history boards. Just start now and don't look back.
Yeah. I'm sure someone said it before, but here I am saying it again.
No, it's great advice. It's great advice. Listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you and interviewing you. And wish you all the best with your property journey. I look forward to hearing all of the success stories on those milestone dates that you've set. And I'm pretty sure people will be very inspired and really motivated by listening and watching back to the show. If anybody wants to reach out to you, or if you wants to contact you or get in touch, do you have any contact information, socials, or whatever that you'd like to share?
Yeah, sure. So you can follow me at mellyandco_ on Instagram, and my Instagram channel is also on that profile, so you can have a look at my property videos, which include like how-tos and vlogs and stuff. And also my website is www.mellyandco.com, and on there I've just got lots of useful resources to help people on their property journey, whether or not you've just started or whether or not you've been in it for a while. I've just got lots of good stuff on there, and one new thing that I've just added, which is so good, book recommendations. So nice. If you go on there and you go into book recommendations, you can see which books have really helped to mold my mindset, encourage me on my property journey, and they just help with everything, with life, pretty much. But yeah, I would say...
You got to give me one book recommendation now. You got to give me at least one.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. So one book that I really like is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And there is actually an updated version, which is called How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. Just because the How to Win Friends and Influence People original was written in like the 1930s.
Yeah.
So it's
send letters and dial on the phone.
Yeah, it's actually written in like quill and ink. So it's just a really good book, and a lot of the principles still stand today, but the digital age version just helps to put them in a context which everyone is really familiar with. So that book is gold dust, and that is on my recommendations as well, so definitely check that out.
Amazing. Cool. All right, well, thanks so much, Mel, and once again, have a great evening, and
thank you.
See you soon.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's been so fun. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
All right. Bye.
Bye.